Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ati Mataji. Then we pranam dear devotees, Jai Shri Prabhupada, we'll start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namahom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, continue with our prayer. Meenakshi Moini, you wanted to sing today in a different tune. That's like Vrindavan Ramya Sthana.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Shachiranandan Tribhuvana Korijara Charana Vandan Nilachale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadhar Nadiyana Gare Danda Kamandalukar Kiho Bole Prabhu Pura Bete Ravana Badila Golokara Vebhavalila Prakasha Gorila Shri Radhara Bhave Ebe Gora Avatar Hare Krishna Nama Gora Gorila Prachar Vasudeva Kosha Bole Kori Jodo Hat Jai Gaura Sei Krishna Sei Jagannath Vasudeva Kosha Bole Kari Jodo Hat Jai Gaura Sei Krishna Sei Jagannath Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Sachinath Jagannath Jai Jai Jagannath Sachiranandana ki Jai Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. Srila Vasudev Ghosh ki Jai.
Jai.
Hey, anybody would like to read the translation today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I can go.
Yes, Naren Prabhu. Yeah.
All glories to the dear son of Jagannath Misra and Sachidev Devi. All the three worlds offer praise unto his lotus feet. In Nilachal he holds the conch shell, disc, club and lotus flower, while in the town of Nadia he holds a sannyasi staff and water pot. It is said that in olden times, as Lord Ramchandra, he killed the demon Ravana. Then, later, as Lord Krishna, he revealed the splendorously opulent pastimes of Goloka. It is who has come, he has come. Oh, from Braja, he has come to Nadia, accepting the mood and luster of Sri Radha. He has come from Braja to Nadia. He has come. Now Lord Govinda, the coward boy, has come as Lord Gauranga. He has come distributing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vasudev says with folded hands, he who is Gaura is, he who is Krishna is, he who is Jagannath. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Naren Prabhu. This is such a nice bhajan, such a simple. Sometimes that's what simplicity. Simplicity is the ornament of a Vaishnava, and such a simple language, which is so dear to the heart and makes us completely attracted to the bhajan. But yeah, that is how pure devotees of the Lord are. So Vasudev Ghosh and all the other eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who were able to have the fortune of spending time during the pastimes, during the Leelas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They captured all these wonderful memories and reflections in beautiful prayers, poems, and literature such as Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad. So we are so blessed that we are able to take benefit of these wonderful compilations even after 500 years. And we're so fortunate that all the future generations to come for the next 10,000 years will be able to take the fortune of associating with this wonderful literature, because literature, the Naam, the Rupa Guna of the Lord is also not different from the Lord. So even though He's not physically here, but just by reciting these prayers, we can take association. We can also be part of that wonderful pastime that the Lord exhibited. So thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll continue with our reading of Sri Prabhupada Lilamrit. So yesterday we saw how Srila Prabhupada is now shuttling between Vrindavan and Delhi. He had received as a sannyas diksha. We sing Prabhupada's pranam mantra in the morning as part of our Mangalacharan. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. So how he had received the title of Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami from his Guru Maharaj, by the blessings of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And then now he has moved to, or he's kind of shuttling between Vrindavan and Delhi, and he has got a small room in the Radhakrishna temple in Chippiwada, and where he is starting to do his initial work of the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we saw how he was starting to do Bhakti Riksha programs at one of the librarians from the Delhi, at the Delhi Library, Delhi Museum, and at his home, Dr. Banerjee, and how he was also writing thoughtful articles, his purports from Bhagavad Gita, making it very simple for people of different age to understand. And his first book, Easy Journey to Other Planets, based on a recent science article that was published on antimatter, and how he so nicely connected that this is the material world and antimatter is the other world is really the spiritual world or the eternal world, and how he is able to send those publications back to scientists who appreciate so much his style and his way of looking at things and connecting, the recent research. So with that, we'll continue. Anybody who would like to continue reading today? Stopped. So I think we have to start from this paragraph, Easy Journey to Other Planets. Okay, let me continue. Hare Krishna. Easy Journey to Other Planets had been like a warm-up for his real work of presenting Srimad Bhagavatam. But now he was even more convinced of the need for books. To preach, he would have to have books, especially if he were to go to the West. With books, he could create a spiritual revolution. There was so much literature in the West, but Westerners had nothing like this, nothing to fill their spiritual vacuum. Although he wanted to give as much time as possible to Srimad Bhagavatam, he decided to continue with Back to Godhead by using excerpts from already existing book manuscripts as articles. Occasionally, however, he would write and print a new article. In Relevant Enquiries, he wrote, "We are just trying to make an humble attempt to save the human being by propaganda of Back to Godhead. This propaganda is not fictitious. If there is any reality at all, this propaganda of Back to Godhead is the beginning of that era of reality." In A Godless Civilization, Bhaktivedanta Swami referred to Prime Minister Nehru's complaints about the misuse of public funds in the name of religion. Bhaktivedanta Swami noted that although there were undoubtedly instances in which religious leaders were implicated in criminal offenses, if statistics were compared, the religious cheaters would be outnumbered by the political cheaters. Although Pandit Nehru had been right in warning of religious fraud, the warning could not be effective without a thorough reform of spiritual institutions, and that reform could be accomplished only with the cooperation of government leaders. Bhaktivedanta Swami quoted from his letter in which he had asked Prime Minister Nehru to take up the study of Bhagavad Gita. But as he informed his back to Godhead readers, Pandit Nehru had never replied. Because of his lack of spiritual knowledge, he thought that this institution, the League of Devotees, might be something like the so many mathas and temples which have become the source of headache for the Pandit. Bhaktivedanta Swami charged that Pandit Nehru thought that any spiritual organization is a dungeon for accumulating public funds and then misuse it for questionable purposes. He, however, approves of the so-called sadhus who do social service and talk nonsense in the spiritual science. This is so because he has no depth of spiritual knowledge for himself, although he is Brahmin and Pandit. Ignorance in spiritual knowledge is the qualification of the Shudras or the laboring class. He requested Pandit Nehru not to be afraid of the word God or Krishna, but we can assure him that there is no such cause of fear because Krishna is everyone's friend and able to render real help to everyone. Bhaktivedanta Swami ended by suggesting that immoral practices were not confined only to the temples of India, but were common to materialistic civilizations all over the world. In particular, he cited the disturbances amongst youth that were becoming rampant in the 1960s. The best thing will be for the physician to heal himself first, because in godless civilization, while the occupants of the mathas and temples have been the cause of headache for the Pandit, the same thing under a different label has become the cause of headache for other European and Asian statesmen. The unbridled youngsters of those countries, under the name of teddy boys in England, the rebels without cause in America, and the half strong in Germany, the leather jackets in Sweden, the children of the sun in Japan, and the style boys in USSR are some of the byproducts of a godless civilization. And that is the root cause of all headache. That requires a thorough treatment. At Chippiwada, Bhaktivedanta Swami followed much the same daily schedule as at Keshi Ghat, except that with Krishna Pandit doing some of the secretarial work for Back to Godhead, he was free to devote more hours to Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Pandit. He used to translate Srimad Bhagavatam before dawn, about 3 a.m. About 3 a.m. In the beginning, there was no typewriter, but then he arranged a portable typewriter. He would do his daily work and then cook his food himself. I arranged some raw materials for his cooking. Sometimes he used to come to my family asking my wife to get some food. Sometimes he would also bathe at 5 or 6 in the afternoon. Every day he was typing, and he himself was reading some Bhagavatam, and he was going down in the temple for darshan. Then he was going outside, sometimes returning at 2 or 4 in the afternoon. Then he was typing and sending the proofs of Back to Godhead to a place and checking them. He was doing by hand all this type of work. His main activity was typing many hours a day. Bhaktivedanta Swami worked from a Sanskrit and Bengali Bhagavatam, edited by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and a large book containing the original commentaries of 12 great acharyas. He had a standard format. He made a Roman transliteration of the Sanskrit Devanagari script, then word for word English synonyms, an English prose translation, and finally his English purport on that verse. Before writing his own purport, however, he would consult the commentaries of the acharyas, especially Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami, Vijay Dhwaj Tirtha, and Sridhar Swami. He contemplated the size of the project he was attempting. The Bhagavatam contained 18,000 verses. The first canto's 17 chapters would fill 3 volumes of 400 pages each, and the second canto with 10 chapters would take 2 volumes. Up through the ninth canto, there would be maybe 30 volumes. The 10th canto, containing 90 chapters, would take 20 volumes. There were 12 cantos, and so the total would be at least 60 volumes. He thought he might be able to finish it in 5 to 7 years. If the Lord keeps me physically fit, then in the fulfillment of Srila Prabhupada's will, I could complete this work. He decided to introduce the first volume with a biographical sketch of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the ideal preacher of the Bhagavatam. The reader could best appreciate the Bhagavatam by seeing its practical demonstration in the life of Lord Chaitanya. The special feature of Lord Chaitanya's presentation had been his desire that Srimad Bhagavatam be preached in every nook and corner of the world by everyone who happens to take his birth in India. I repeat again, the special feature of Lord Chaitanya's presentation had been his desire that Srimad Bhagavatam be preached in every nook and corner of the world by everyone who happens to take his birth in India. Lord Chaitanya had called Srimad Bhagavatam the spotless Purana and had considered the chanting and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam along with the Hare Krishna mantra to be a complete scientific process for developing pure love of God. Working from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrit and Chaitanya Bhagavat, Bhakti Vedanta Swami gave a 50-page synopsis of Lord Chaitanya's life and his Sankirtan movement. He described Lord Chaitanya's divine ecstasies, his philosophical confrontations with leading scholars of the day, and his inauguration of the Sankirtan movement, the congregational chanting of the holy name. Bhaktivedanta Swami especially connected Lord Chaitanya's life and teachings to what he saw as the present crucial time in history. Help for humanity in this momentous hour of need lay in the Vedic literature and especially in Srimad Bhagavatam. We know that the foreign invaders of India could break down some of the monumental architectural work in India, but they were unable to break up the perfect ideals of human civilization, so far kept hidden within the Sanskrit language of Vedic wisdom. The Sanskrit language had protected the secret for thousands of centuries, but now the secret had to be released to the world. As he approached the first verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhaktivedanta Swami became absorbed in the Bhagavatam's purpose. The verses stressed that the Bhagavatam alone could save society from the evil influences of the age of Kali. Srimad Bhagavatam's recommendation for this age was simply to hear from the pure devotees about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The setting of the Bhagavatam was a gathering of sages at Naimisharanya about 5,000 years ago, at the dawn of the present age of Kali. Foreseeing the degradation of humanity, the sages asked the senior member of the assembly, Sutta Goswami, now that Lord Krishna, the shelter of all religious principles, has returned to his spiritual abode, where are religious principles to be found? Sutta's answer was that the epic Srimad Bhagavatam, which is as brilliant as the sun, was a literary incarnation of God and would give direction to persons lost in the dense darkness of Kali Yuga. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, under the instruction of his spiritual master, Narad Muni, sat down and entered a deep meditation. In trance, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his energies, and the suffering souls of Kali Yuga. He also saw that the remedy for their suffering was pure devotional service. With this vision and the instructions of his spiritual master as his inspiration, Vyasadeva set about to compile Srimad Bhagavatam to give the highest benefit to the suffering souls of Kali Yuga. In presenting the literary incarnation of God, Srimad Bhagavatam, for the benefit of the Western world, Bhaktivedanta Swami realized that he was performing an important task, following in the footsteps of Srila Vyasadeva. As Srila Vyasadeva had had a vision of Krishna and had received direction from his spiritual master before beginning his literary mission, Bhaktivedanta Swami had his vision and had received instructions from his spiritual master. Bhaktivedanta Swami envisioned distributing in mass the book of Srila Vyasadeva. He would not merely translate it, he would personally take it to the West, present it, and teach people in the West through the book and in person how to develop pure love of God. Srila Prabhupada. The Communist Party has become popular simply by distributing their literatures. In Calcutta, the communist agents were inviting friends and reading the literature. The Russians never came to India, but by distributing literature in every language, they got a pretty good number of followers. If it is possible for ordinary third class mundane literature, why shouldn't transcendental literature create devotees all over the world? There is good potency for pushing on these literatures very vigorously from village to village. The Bhagavad Dharma is the original religion of the human society. Whatever else may be passing as religion has come from the Vedic literature. People are after these books. They are hankering for them. Lord Chaitanya said that in every town and village on the surface of the world, they will know the message of the Sankirtan movement. This means that in every village and town all over the world, there are many candidates who are awaiting this message. It is transcendental literature. Nobody can challenge it. It is done so nicely without any spot, the spotless Purana. Bhaktivedanta Swami put his faith in Srimad Bhagavatam, giving up almost all other kinds of missionary activity. And this had been the advice and example of his spiritual master and of Lord Chaitanya. They had not been interested in building costly temples or in creating many neophyte disciples. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had stressed preaching. Preaching meant books, and the best book was Srimad Bhagavatam. To write and publish the Bhagavatam was for the enlightenment of the general populace was real service to the Lord. That was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's opinion. He had preferred publishing books to establishing temples, and he had specifically told his disciples to write books. It was the business of advanced, empowered devotees to write books, publish them, and distribute them widely. A program to distribute transcendental literature everywhere with even more expertise than the communists would create a great positive effect on the people of Europe and America. And if Europeans and Americans turned to Krishna consciousness, then the rest of the world would follow. Bhaktivedanta Swami continued working alone in his room at Chippiwada, absorbed in thoughts of spreading the news of Krishna on a scale never before attempted. He sometimes wondered how Westerners, who were so far removed from the Vedic culture, could adopt it. They were meat eaters, malechas. When one of his god brothers had gone to England, the Marquis of Zetland, on hearing the 4 prohibitions against sinful life, had laughed scornfully. Impossible. But Srimad Bhagavatam spoke for itself. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Although he was known as an English preacher, Bhaktivedanta Swami knew there were always faults in his presentation in that foreign language, and there was no editor to correct them. But such technical faults would not keep him from printing Srimad Bhagavatam. This idea was also presented in the opening of chapters of the Bhagavatam. The literature, which is full with description of transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation of transcendental vocabulary, all meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization of the world. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, is heard, sung, and accepted by the purified men who are thoroughly honest. Bhaktivedanta Swami wrote in his purport, "We know that in our honest attempt for presenting this great literature, conveying transcendental message for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general, as a matter of re-spiritualization of the world atmosphere, is fraught with many difficulties. Our capacity of presenting the matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail, and there may be so many literary discrepancies in spite of our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of the society will still accept this on account of its being an honest attempt for glorifying the Almighty Great, so much now badly needed. When there is fire in the house, the inmates of the house go out for help from the neighbors, who may be foreigners to such inmates, and yet without any adequate language, the victims of the fire express themselves and the neighbors understand the need, even though not expressed in adequate language. The same spirit of cooperation is needed in the matter of broadcasting this transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the whole polluted atmosphere of the present day world situation. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and as such, we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the technique of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there is the success. Hare Krishna. Pause here for today. Anybody has any thoughts or reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, everyone. Such a beautiful reading today and glorification of Well, the Srimad Bhagavatam is so much essential and crucial, and his faith and conviction that it's the only Puran which would save the humanity, and he was so much concerned about everybody, and he had so much faith in Lord Chaitanya's words that this message would spread far and wide in every town and village. So that was so beautiful to read, and his saying that this is the only Amala Puran. I was remembering the verse, which is the conclusion of Mahaprabhu, which goes like Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tathama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Varajena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mat Idam Tatradaro Na Para. So it says that Srimad Mahaprabhu's conclusion is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amalast Puran, is the purest literature, and Vrindavan is our, the final destination. Such a beautiful verse, very close to my heart, and very beautiful reading, which it directly goes to this verse. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much for the nice reflection. Yes. Wonderful. Anybody else has any other thoughts? I was also reminded when you said that verse, that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and again, like I always say, coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. How wonderful it is that Srila Prabhupada is now writing as translations of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's describing the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to begin with. And currently we are in the month of March, celebrating the wonderful month of the auspicious appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like you rightly said in that verse, he described all these five important conclusions of who our Lord should be, that Brajendra Nandana, Krishna, and then who his purest devotees are, where his dham is, and then why Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Puranam, and then what is the ultimate goal of life, which is prema, developing love of God. And he himself came to show practically how to develop that love of God. So love of God, we can do as devotees, as sadhakas, we have to start with Shraddha, like we say, right? We start with Shraddha, and then we get sadhu sangha, then we do bhajana kriya, and through bhajana kriya, slowly and slowly, gradually and gradually, our anarthas in the heart start getting eradicated. And then once those happen, then we reach the stage of nishtha, steadiness. Then we develop some taste, ruchi, we get attachment. So we can get up to that level. But the real bhava and the prema, the love of God, that can only and only be attained by the mercy of our acharyas, by the mercy of our guru, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? Even though we may be trying our best, without their mercy, we cannot reach that level, that state. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like I said, not just when he was on the planet 500 years ago, but he made sure that his pure devotees, his transcendental associates who were there with him, like all the Shad Goswamis, he told them he didn't just keep them with himself in Jagannath Puri, right? He sent them in different directions, just like how Srila Prabhupada is now talking about, and how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was saying that a preacher doesn't just stay in a secluded holy place, he travels to all the different cities. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent all his initial disciples, Shad Goswamis, in different directions, and especially to Vrindavan, to go and to do three things. One was to re-establish the holy places where the Lord performed his pastimes, then to build beautiful temples where people can actually come and learn the transcendental science of worship of the Lord, and finally to write books describing the glories and the pastimes of the Lord. So thank you to all of their wonderful efforts and the vision that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had for all of us, the future generations who will be coming in the next 10,000 years, that we have got this wonderful literature, and how Sri Prabhupada here now is taking those commentaries from the Goswamis, and he's also taking it a step further based on the instruction of his Guru Maharaj to translate it into language which is easily understood by people of the world. So yeah, we are really grateful. I don't think we can repay that debt that all these acharyas have given us, and that's why we say this is a true treasure and treasure that has been coming down in the parampara that we've been handed down, and we cannot be ever grateful to this wonderful Guru Parampara who have given us this wonderful gifts. Yes, thank you. Any other thoughts or reflections?
Hello.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Hari Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna ji. Is it okay if I speak in Hindi? थोड़ा
हाँ
सा
जी, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
मुझे
बिल्कुल
easy लगेगा.
हाँ जी.
So I'm new to this temple. मैं वैसे भी I mean I follow Hindu religion. I'm Hindu. जैसे हम टेम्पल में यूजली जाते हैं ना, इस्कॉन में न्यू जाते हैं हम अभी, राइट? तो
हाँ जी.
लाइक हमको सभी को पता है ना कृष्णा, भगवान कृष्णा के बारे में, वृंदावन के बारे में, लेकिन जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि अभी शेला प्रभु आई थिंक एंड
प्रभुपाद
हाँ जी, तो
founder
मैं
आचार्य.
आल्सो एक नाम और ले रहे थे, तो हाउ कैन आई अंडरस्टैंड, मतलब मुझे समझ आया इनके बारे में, मतलब कि एक मैं अपना क्वेश्चन ही पुट इट टुगेदर. जैसे हमको पता है ना भगवत गीता इट्स अबाउट कृष्ण एंड अर्जुन, तो इनका जैसे नाम आता है प्रभु जी का,
प्रभुपाद
राइट?
का या चैतन्य महाप्रभु का.
हाँ जी, तो ये कौन थे? लाइक चैतन्य प्रभु आपने बताया था ना, ये युग 4 युग मैंने इस्कॉन टेम्पल में सुना था कि वहां पे जैसे इन कल युगा, सतयुगा एंड ही वाज बोर्न इन, ऐसे. तो क्या समय लगेगा? जैसे मे बी आई एम विद माय क्वेश्चन.
यस
मेरे
बिल्कुल.
को
तो
तो से को कृष्णा के बारे में पूरा पता है, राइट? जैसे ये चैतन्य महाप्रभु, तो इनके बारे में मोर इंफॉर्मेशन
जानना है आपको, जानने की.
राइट,
हाँ,
राइट.
तो बहुत अच्छा सवाल है आपका. और
क्योंकि
सबसे
क्योंकि मुझे सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं करना है कि गो टू टेम्पल एंड व्हाट आई नो जस्ट रीड दैट. आई वांट टू नो मोर, यू नो. सो
यस यस, वेरी नाइस. नहीं, बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है आपका. और यही यही उत्सुकता, यही जिज्ञासा जो रहती है, सबसे पहली जरूरत होनी चाहिए, राइट? सबसे पहला यही पड़ाव है. और जैसे आपने पूछा कि so शिला प्रभुपाद, ऑफ कोर्स, जैसे आपने बताया, वो इस्कॉन के फाउंडर आचार्य हैं. और इस्कॉन, ठीक है, एक संस्था है जो कि अभी 60-70 साल पहले शुरू हुई थी अमेरिका में. लेकिन ये पूरी परंपरा है, गुरु परंपरा, जैसे हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे आज. तो शिला प्रभुपाद के गुरु महाराज हैं, उनके गुरु महाराज हैं. ऐसे करते करते हम जब जाते हैं गुरु परंपरा में ऊपर, तो इट गोज ऑल द वे अप टू श्री कृष्णा. तो भगवान कृष्ण से, नारद मुनि से, व्यासदेव से, ब्रह्मा जी से, ऐसे करते करते वो पूरी परंपरा चली आ रही है. तो ये गुरु परंपरा है, उसमें शिला प्रभुपाद अभी हमारे फाउंडर आचार्य हैं. तो
श्रीला
ऐसे
प्रभु ने इस्कॉन को फाउंड किया था, राइट?
इस्कॉन इस्कॉन का एस्टेब्लिश किया था यहाँ
इंडिया
पे. हाँ,
इंडिया में कि यूएसए में फर्स्ट?
नहीं, यूएसए में एस्टेब्लिश किया था. तो इंडिया में अभी हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं उनके बारे में, उनकी जो जर्नी है वो इंडिया से स्टार्ट हुई थी, राइट? जो कैसे उनका जन्म हुआ था. आई थिंक आप अभी पिछले 1-2 हफ्ते से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. तो हमने
राइट.
जनवरी से स्टार्ट किया था ये बुक, शिला प्रभुपाद लीलामृत. इट लिटरली मीन्स कि शिला प्रभुपाद की जो लीला थी इस जगत में, उन वो अमृत, एक नेक्टर के जैसे है. तो जैसे भगवान की लीलाएं होती है, वैसे ही भगवान के
राइट.
भक्तों की लीला. तो भगवान के जो भक्त होते हैं, उनकी जब लीला हम पढ़ते हैं तो भगवान को और ज़्यादा प्रसन्नता होती है, बिकॉज भगवान के वो इतने प्रिय होते हैं, भगवान के जो शुद्ध भक्त होते हैं. तो ये शिला प्रभुपाद थे, ऐसे उनके आचार्य, उनके गुरु महाराज वैसे. तो ये परंपरा है. और
उनका
श्री
ये
चैतन्य
उन्होंने ही फर्स्ट टेम्पल बनवाया था फॉरेन में, यूएसए में, नॉट इन इंडिया. जो इस्कॉन दिल्ली में है वो
हाँ
फर्स्ट
जी,
टेम्पल नहीं है, इस्कॉन फर्स्ट नहीं है.
इंडिया में नहीं स्टार्ट हुआ था वो. यहाँ इंडिया से फिर यहाँ आए थे यूएस में. यूएस में सबसे पहले न्यूयॉर्क में इस्टेब्लिश किया था. और
ओके,
उसके बाद में कैलिफोर्निया में, फिर यूएस
ऑल
में
ओवर
अलग
द वर्ल्ड।
जगह पे, फिर कनाडा में, फिर हाँ फिर ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड में धीरे धीरे। तो ऐसे अभी तो दिल्ली में 18 टेम्पल हैं कुछ इस्कॉन के, और
नहीं,
बाकी
वैसे
जगह।
जनरली मुझे
हम्म
बाकी सब पता है, जैसे हम वृंदावन भी गए थे लास्ट ईयर, एंड
हम्म
यहाँ पे वृंदावन गए हम, तो यही सोच के आते हैं ना, वृंदावन टेम्पल जो कृष्ण कृष्ण धाम है, राइट।
हम्म हम्म
तो इस्कॉन के बारे में थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि एवरीबडी थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट सिस्टम है टेम्पल
हम्म
कंपेयर टू डिफरेंट
हम्म
अदर टेम्पल्स। जैसे हम
हम्म
जनरली टेम्पल में जाते हैं, थोड़ा सा सिस्टम अलग है, राइट।
हम्म, थोड़ा थोड़ा नहीं, बहुत अलग है हाँ। तो
हाँ।
वो आपको अंदर आते ही महसूस होता है। जैसे अभी मैं पिछले हफ्ते डिवोटी से बात कर रहा था जो गौर पूर्णिमा में आए थे, तो बोले थे कि
हम्म
जैसे ही मंदिर में आते ही उनको एक अलग वाइब्रेशन फील होता है।
हम्म।
भक्तों का जो संग मिलता है, जो प्रेम मिलता है, जो
पॉजिटिविटी।
भक्त, हाँ इतनी पॉजिटिविटी होती है, जो जो भक्त जिनसे भी बात करते हैं तो इतना अच्छा लगता है। ऐसे ऐसे एक दो डिवोटीज जो नए आए थे वो बता रहे थे। तो
स्वर्ग जैसा
वो
माहौल होना चाहिए।
हम्म सॉरी, क्या कैसा होना चाहिए?
स्वर्ग जैसा माहौल होना चाहिए ना।
स्वर्ग
मैं जो
स्वर्ग, स्वर्ग
यू
से भी
फील लाइक।
ऊपर, स्वर्ग से भी ऊपर।
और दूसरा
ये
आपने, मैंने यही पूछ, चलो
तो
दूसरा आपने।
चैतन्य महाप्रभु के बारे में जो आपको जानना है तो मैं आपको रेकमेंड करूंगा, इस हफ्ते हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत वरिष्ठ भक्त आ रहे हैं, हिज ग्रेस आदि गदाधर प्रभु। तो आज बुधवार है, कल कल हमारे यहाँ पे कल और परसों दो स्पेशल होम प्रोग्राम्स हैं, थर्सडे एंड फ्राइडे। फ्लायर डिटेल्स ग्रुप में आया हुआ है ऑलरेडी।
हाँ जी।
तो वो आप ज़रूर अटेंड करिए, तो उससे आपके
ओके।
सारे प्रश्नों के जवाब आपको मिल जाएंगे। चैतन्य महाप्रभु कौन थे, उनकी महिमा क्या थी।
आई थिंक लास्ट टाइम भी प्रोग्राम हुआ था ना गवर्नर हिल्स में, कोई
हाँ
प्रभु आए
जी,
थे जिन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया था
हाँ
अबाउट
जी।
चैतन्य
हम्म
महाप्रभु। मैं थोड़ा सा सुना था सत्संग, तो
हम्म
आई डोंट हैव फुली नॉलेज अबाउट इट। तो
हाँ
चैतन्य
वो भी,
प्रभु
वो
एज ए पर्सन
लेक्चर्स
ही
आप सुन
केम इन द
सकते
लाइफ।
हैं ऑनलाइन। यस, वो ही इज कृष्णा, वो भगवान कृष्ण है।
ओके,
वो
कृष्ण है, ठीक है।
राधा रानी के भाव में आए थे, इसलिए वो राधा भाव अ,
ओके।
में आए थे। इसलिए वो डिवोटी के, वो उनको उनको जानना था कि भगवान के जो भक्त हैं उनको जो प्रेम है भगवान के प्रति, वो प्रेम
हम्म
भगवान को भी महसूस नहीं होता, बिकॉज भगवान के भक्तों का प्रेम इतना शुद्ध पावन और मधुर है। वो उनको एक्सपीरियंस करने के लिए वो राधा भाव में आए, तो वो चैतन्य
ओके।
महाप्रभु है। तो खैर अभी तो टाइम शॉर्ट है
हाँ
तो
जी,
हम
हाँ
फिर,
जी, सॉरी, मैं
लेकिन
लास्ट टाइम पे पूछा,
लेकिन
लेकिन
जैसे आप,
आई रियली वांट टू डीपली अंडरस्टैंड, क्योंकि टेम्पल हम बेसिकली सभी जाते हैं ना, राइट। तो लेकिन क्यों आ रहे हैं इस्कॉन में, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड। क्योंकि थोड़ा
यस
थोड़ा लाइक यू से कि इट्स टोटली डिफरेंट देन द रेगुलर टेम्पल्स। है तो
यस
टेम्पल ही, राइट।
यस यस,
भगवान का मंदिर ही है ना,
भगवान का मंदिर ही है।
तो
यस।
तो ठीक है प्रभु, थैंक यू जी। मैं डेफिनेटली वो रीड करूंगा उनके बारे
आप
में।
अटेंड करिए दोनों प्रोग्राम, हो सके 2 या 4 प्रोग्राम है, थर्सडे फ्राइडे होम प्रोग्राम है, सैटरडे को भी सेंटर प्रोग्राम है। तो आप ज़रूर अटेंड करिए। और हाँ, और बाकी जो
बिल्कुल।
प्रोग्राम जो हुए थे वो भी ऑलरेडी आप ऑनलाइन सुन सकते हैं उनको फिर से, अगर आपने नहीं सुना है तो उसमें भी
जी,
आपको काफ़ी प्रश्न मिलेंगे, बट हम सेंटर पे और डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे।
ठीक है जी।
ठीक है प्रभु जी।
शुक्रिया जी। हरे
थैंक यू।
कृष्ण जी।
हरे कृष्णा। ऑलराइट, एनीथिंग एल्स फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी?
नहीं, बस मुझे प्रभु को ये बोलना था, प्रभु इस्कॉन खाली टेम्पल नहीं है। प्रभु आपने जब ये स्टैब्लिश किया था तो उनको यूनिवर्सिटी और स्कूल के जैसे जैसे जहाँ पे हमको स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज मिले, उनका वो नजरिया था कि उनको एवरीबडी जो आते हैं, हम मंदिर में आते तो हमें बहुत सारी हमारी खुद की धर्म के बारे में पता नहीं होता, फिलोसफी के बारे में पता नहीं होता, लेकिन जब हम इस्कॉन में आते हैं तो हमें पता चलता है। जब हम भी इनिशियली आने लगे तो हमें हमारे ये सारे क्वेश्चंस थे, लेकिन जैसे जैसे आने
राइट।
लगे चीजें क्लियर होने लगी, क्योंकि यहाँ यहाँ हमको सीखने को मिलता है। भगवत गीता है, भागवतम, इतने सारे इंडियन थे लेकिन नहीं पता कि उसका डेप्थ क्या है। लेकिन इस्कॉन में ये डिफरेंस है कि हम सीखते हैं, हमारे जो वेदा है, पुराण हैं, हमारे जो इतने पुराने पुराने आचार्यों ने हजारों हजारों साल से लिखे हैं, हम उनको स्टडी करते हैं, इसलिए एक अलग फीलिंग आती है। और महाप्रभु, चैतन्य महाप्रभु, वो छंद अवतार में आए थे, छुपे हुए अवतार में आए थे, भक्त के रूप में आए थे। इसके लिए इन जनरल हमको नहीं पता होता इंडिया में, मुझे भी नहीं पता था जब पहले हम जुड़े थे कि वो कौन है। हम भी जाते थे पहले मंदिर तो ऐसे लगता था ये दोनों हाथ ऊपर खड़े करके ये कौन है, बट आने लगे तो पता चला कि ही वॉज इन छंद, छुपे हुए रूप में आए थे। उनका मेन गोल यही था कि ये हरि नाम का प्रचार पूरे जगत, पूरे संसार में हो। और जो हम देख रहे हैं कि अभी हो रहा है, उन्होंने जो बहुत सारे प्रिडिक्शंस किए थे वो अभी सच हो रहे हैं। तो बेसिकली मतलब जैसे जैसे आप आएंगे पढ़ेंगे क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे आपको मोर यू विल गेट मोर क्लियरिटी प्रभु। बट ये बहुत रेलेवेंट है, जो आपको फील हो रहा है हम सबको फील हुआ था जब हम स्टार्टिंग में आए थे।
Okay,
तो
मुझे
yes.
लगा कि I don't want to be weird asking questions.
No,
That's
no,
why.
Prabhu, you're absolutely fine because we felt the same way when we came. When we started coming for the first time, we were all there where you are right now. So it's absolutely fine. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Moni, and thank you for the question. कोई भी question, कोई भी सवाल weird नहीं है,
Because I
छोटा
don't
नहीं
want
है।
to, Prabhu ji, sorry, I don't want to
नहीं,
hesitate क्योंकि हिंदी
yes,
में
yes,
बोल रहा हूँ because
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ,
मुझे
हाँ,
English आता है, I can
हम्म,
speak English, understand English, but when it's to like reading Bhagavad Gita, I'm not used to it in English. जैसे मैं I pray every day हनुमत चालीसा पढ़ता हूँ ना हिंदी में, like it's used to mindset होता है. So that's why I don't want to feel anybody feel there कि why is speaking कि हिंदी में क्यों पूछ रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ बात तो नहीं है ना वैसे.
नहीं 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 नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं। बस वो तो वही हम बोल रहे हैं, श्री प्रभुपाद का तो यही नजरिया, जैसे मीनाक्षी में बताया था कि कोई हमें पूरे पूरे जगत में इसका प्रचार करना है। तो आप
For
देखेंगे तो श्री
sure.
प्रभुपाद की जो भगवद गीता है वो सभी पूरे वर्ल्ड में, आई थिंक इट्स मोर देन 100 लैंग्वेजेस में भगवद गीता पब्लिश हो चुकी है अभी, राइट। तो
जी.
हिंदी क्या, मराठी क्या, गुजराती क्या, हमारे भारतीय सारी सारी लैंग्वेजेस में, उसके अलावा भी रशियन, फ्रेंच, जर्मन, सभी लैंग्वेजेस में। बिकॉज ये यूनिवर्सल लैंग्वेज है भगवान की जो भगवद गीता है, राइट। इट्स नॉट मंडेन कि खाली हमारी जो इस
It's not
धरती
for
की
हिंदू
तरह। हाँ,
हिंदू लोगों के लिए नहीं है, वो
हाँ,
ह्यूमन के लिए,
सभी के
ह्यूमंस
लिए,
के लिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
ठीक.
तो इसलिए तो आप बिल्कुल, हाँ नहीं, बेझिझक होके आपको जो भी सवाल है, हम और डिटेल में हम सेंटर पे मिलेंगे तो बात कर सकते हैं, तो मैं कह रहा था। लेकिन हाँ, यहाँ पे जो भी आपके सवाल है बिल्कुल आप पूछ सकते हैं बेझिझक होके, कोई
ठीक.
हिंदी में भी। यस, थैंक यू सो मच। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण.
Okay, so we'll end with Vaishnav Pranam prayers. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.